Gael, hi. Welcome to Green I/O London, your conference that you put on all around the world. So I guess, we wanted to recreate, hopefully a little bit more professionally, what we did last year. Hopefully with better audio, fingers crossed. Hence audio mic.
Already an amazing job last year.
So if you've not checked out last year's, you go and have a look at last year's. But yeah, what we wanted to do was give a little bit of a summary of what happened today at Green I/O. So perhaps for those that are new to the Green I/O brand and concept and thing, podcast, community, can you give everyone a quick summary?
Well, basically Green I/O was created to connect responsible technologists. That really the main, or I would say our North Star, even if I don't like that much single metrics, they can be very misleading, but the mission is there, like connect responsible technologists. And it all started with a podcast where I wanted people doing things in the green IT field. So really focusing on how to reduce my environmental footprint as a technologist, not focusing that much on the other part, which is how can I bring technology to do good things in the world, because I believe that there are a lot of great materials, resources, podcasts, conferences, show, whatever about this, but there is not that many shows and resources for technology saying, okay, I'm every day at the office or behind my desk, what can I do? So I want to reduce the environmental footprint, what can I do? And I realized that people in different line of works, whether they're design, ops, obviously dev, etc., they were doing things, but they were not necessarily aware of what each other were doing, and it's also happened across countries and even continents. So it was like, okay, let's share the news. And this is how the podcast was created. And then 2 years ago now, I had the opportunity to partner with API Days, who has been very committed in the field of sustainability, inclusivity, etc. So all this, I would say, human-centered and planet-centered fights. And they offered me the opportunity to create my own conference within the big API Days conference. And I thought, okay, yes, because I'm still a strong believer that in-person meeting is crucial. And the philosophy of these conferences were really based on three values: respect the planet, respect science, respect people. And what we do for this is we bring an international perspective, cross-disciplinary perspective. We connect people as much as we can because we do this meeting in person, and we respectfully agree to disagree. And that's really something that matters. Last year in London, I don't know if you remembered, you had on stage Mark Butcher saying that basically some tech companies were bullshitting, greenwashing, etc. Mark, yep. Old man yelling at the cloud. And a few talks later, one of these big tech companies was explaining its own perspective, and it was done respectfully. And so people in the room can, have a healthy debate and understand, okay, I understand Mark's point of view, I understand this tech company point of view, I make my own opinion, but without yelling at each other, without this stupid business of a social media bubble and all of this.
Yeah, that in-person sort of communication is really important for that, isn't it? It's easy to get sort of almost take away the human aspect of communication when it's online. But I mean, so look, Gael, you've taken this conference now all around the world. What is it about London and perhaps today that you're most looking forward to on the agenda?
I think we've been blessed to have, despite, I wouldn't say communication embargo, but communication strict requirements from their top management, okay. A lot of the government people joining. So we follow their rules, like there will be no Q&A, no interviews, no recordings, but they did the effort to come and to share what the civil servants have done in the UK. And to be honest, except for France, I didn't see that level of commitment anywhere around the world. I think the UK folks are leading the charge when it comes to providing accessible, sustainable IT services for the population. They're very into it, and I think we will have like maybe 50, 60, if not 100 participants coming from the civil sector. And that's great, because my main goal is that when a techie, the average techie joining, not maybe Green I/O, but like API Days or Generation AI conference or any other conference, when they see a Green I/O conference, they might be curious, they might attend one talk. And if this talk is the government saying, oh, we've done something, when he or she comes back in the office and say, hey, boss, I think we should do something about green ops. I think we should do something about sustainable design. If the boss pushes back and say, wow, that's a greeny stuff, that's Greenpeace talking, we're doing business here, and they no, actually the government has done it, or this big corporation has done it, or NHS has done it. Suddenly, it creates a lot of credibility, and it can change the momentum internally.
Great. And so look, this episode, a special episode of Architect Tomorrow in collaboration with Green.io, we'll give a bit of a...
so much
No,
for this.
no worries. I love this conference, and I love what you do. It's amazing. And so hopefully this episode will give people a flavour of what was discussed. Clearly, we probably can't cover much on the government side for those reasons that you just described, but I really hope that people find this as a good introduction to Green.io, and then they go and discover more.
Hopefully so, because you will have a lot of people doing green ops on a daily basis, achieving things. But I think this year's theme is especially interesting because it's good for the planet, good for business, question mark. And the question mark is important here. And this is all the, I would say, the juice of a Green.io.
Yeah, okay.
Because we will have both people achieving great things with green ops, but also the closing remarks will be done by Ian Brooks. And it will be green IT is good, it's not enough. And it's also, when you do green ops, it's the beginning of your journey, it's not the end.
100%. Yeah.
But that's good to start. A journey needs to start. It needs to start in an accessible way. If you want to reach the star from day one, obviously it's a recipe to disaster. So my point is, I think tomorrow what we will see is this dialogue between, hey, this is what you can do on day one, but don't fool yourself. Don't fall in the in the trap of greenwashing by pretending that because you started green ops, you solved every problem in sustainability in your company or in the world. Start the dialogue, start the discussion, see where you can improve, and do it in a very respectful way for planet, people, and science.
Awesome, Gael. Well, hopefully I'll grab you at the end of the conference to get your sort of in summary. But no, thanks again. All right. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Amael, Chief Executive Officer at Resilio, a Swiss startup, 25 people working on the environmental footprint of ICT, trying to reduce it using data, tools, and services. And a workshop I'll be running this afternoon is exactly about the data part. So how do you get the data we produce to reduce the footprint of the services you operate?
And is it specifically device carbon footprints? Is that what it is? Like the technology products? Give everyone a flavour of what specifically it is that Resilio does.
So if you go and check on db.resilio.tech, you'll see that indeed we have a lot of equipment, hardware products, but we also have services, such as cloud services, virtual machine storage, and we're increasingly adding new services. We are releasing today the news that we just concluded a partnership with Electricity Map and be able to provide data on electricity also for more than 200 countries and regions on this planet, up to 5-minute granularity. So that will be a huge part also. Devices, electricity, and cloud services.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Magali, and I lead the international expansion for a company called Sopht. Sopht, that is a platform that allows organizations to measure and decarbonize IT in a holistic way.
Brilliant. And it was great catching your talk earlier. For those that weren't able to see it, how would you kind of give a fairly quick summary of what you were talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So the objective of this session was to do a deep dive on a particular topic in the green IT space that is looking at the growing use case around applications, with the number of applications exploding, especially due to AI, the storage and the infrastructure behind applications also increasing, and therefore looking at how green ops can help organizations really maximize the environmental gains by taking an infrastructure level view of applications, as well as maximizing their cost reductions.
Brilliant. So kind of using green ops to look at application usage and that sort of things. Amazing. And have you had a chance to take in much of the other sessions today? Have you got any sort of key takeaways from the event today?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sopht is a French-based company, and many of you know that the green IT ecosystem in France is quite strong.
Yeah.
But I think the conclusion of this event is that we're getting some competition.
But also demand, I would say, in the UK market
Yeah.
for sustainable and green IT.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really
Brilliant.
good to see.
Anne, so you're keynoting at Green I/O London 2025.
I am. I'm very excited to be keynoting. I'm one of the authors, along with Sarah Sue and Sarah Bergman, of O'Reilly's book Building Green Software, which we wrote to kind of like set the scene of non-controversial. Everybody's going to agree. This is what we're aiming for. Okay. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how AI fits into that model. And I'll be taking us back in time to say, where did AI come from? Modern AI, not AI kind of like in the 50s, modern AI come from, LLMs and ChatGPT onwards. Mm-hmm. Why is it so successful? And how do we align it with climate change? Right. Because I think that if you don't understand the context, everybody's read Building Green Software will know it. I'm quite obsessed with context and stepping back and understanding where things come from. And so that's what I want to do a little bit. Say, there are lots of things we could do, but given the history of AI and modern AI, what's likely to work and what would be less likely to work? How do we focus our efforts in the right way?
So it sounds like trying to find a pragmatic path to like using AI but doing so sustainably.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing that later today. But is there anything that you like the look of on the agenda?
Well, I have to say, I'm really looking forward to all the talks today. Okay. There's a lot of talks from the British government.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, we can't film any of those.
Yeah, that's a shame. So I'm looking forward to those, and not least because I'll be haranguing governments around the world a little bit in my keynote. So we'll see what effect that has.
Look forward to that. Thanks, Anne. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mark Buss. So I work for OVO as Digital Sustainability Manager. So I'm overseeing the carbon footprint and other environmental impacts of our tech and digital products that we create and use there. And today we're talking about a collaboration that I've done with heata around running devices on hot water cylinders in our OVO customer homes to heat their water but also run compute for us. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm Commercial Director at heata. We are building radically more sustainable infrastructure than a typical data center, and the way that we do that is by reusing the waste heat from servers and using it for hot water in homes. And today we're talking about our technology and our kind of vision for the future of our AI infrastructure, but also our collaboration with OVO to help them reduce their cloud emissions and also give their customers some value at the same time.
It's amazing. I'm a big fan of heat recovery. I think it's like a bit of a no-brainer that we're not tapping into. And I've spoken to other people like Deep Green and others who are looking at it. So it's great to get heata, talk to heata as well. Possibly rounds out most of the people in the space looking at it. So no, big fan of that, Charlie. So I guess is there any other sort of thoughts, observations from the day that you've kind of picked up?
Yeah, it's always great to hear from Anne Currie. She's a great speaker. I think the whole AI thing. It's interesting to see where that race of like AI using loads of energy and then the ramp up of renewables, are they going to line up together or is one going to beat the other? So interesting to see where that goes.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I'd say enjoyed especially the end of Anne's talk where she talked about kind of fate being in our hands. We have to make the changes that we want to see, and I think we're in the room full of the right people to make that happen. And then also watching Natalie talk, having worked with a lot of big enterprises before, trying to help them on this journey, I'm all too familiar with the struggles of making change happen, so it's interesting to see how HSBC are managing to make a difference.
Amazing. Yeah, so I'm Dryden. I am the CEO of CarbonRunner, and what I'm into is making some action, especially around bringing my love for sustainability and technology together. It's kind of why we built the tools that we build, and with CarbonRunner, we're really looking at like focusing on shifting cloud compute, be it AI training or GitHub Actions, to low carbon regions to save lots of emissions, 90% emissions.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk like the kind of combination of looking for lower carbon hosting and kind of running workloads where it's cleaner, but also the cost savings. Yeah. It was really interesting. So yeah, just kind of give everyone a kind of an idea of what beyond just carbon saving CarbonRunner is delivering.
Yeah, so traditionally, especially like CI/CD or like continuous integration, it's just focused on two pillars, which is price and performance. Does it run really quick and is it cheap? It turns out that GitHub's a great platform, but it's actually most of your stuff is super slow and it's really expensive too. It's probably the one of most, but they have it. It's sticky, so you use it and you get loads of tools. And it's a great service. But we want to add two more for a modern age, which is resilience. Can we run these jobs across multiple clouds in the lowest CO2 regions? You can do that. It's super easy to do. And and the last one is that resilience piece, so adding resilience and sustainability to those four pillars of a modern CI/CD.
Awesome. What have you sort of learnt or sort of seen that's impressed you today at Green I/O? Is there any sort of takeaways or anything that's particularly sort of you found interesting?
Yeah, today I liked it because it was I liked it today because it feels a bit more action based. I really I loved the talks yesterday, but it was very, here's our dashboard, here's our reporting, here's an API. And I think that's why I kind of came and I was super excited to do the talk, because it's cool and I get it. We need all of those things too, but it's what about actually how we make change? The change is possible. It's sometimes not even that hard, and you can make some great benefits. So I really liked it there. And also it's just nice to get yourself out of the screen and meet people in real life. So,
yeah, no, it totally is, isn't it? And look, I'm really impressed by what you're doing. So it looks like you've got reasonable traction. Can you give us an idea of numbers?
Oh, golly, yeah, that word. So we're actually actively fundraising at the moment. So when we talk to VCs, they're normally like, oh, come back to us when you have $1 million ARR. And we're like, well, but why would we talk to you if we had that much money? So they're always looking for traction. We kind of deal in minutes and jobs. So in the last month or two, we run 60,000 jobs for a multiple, we focus on enterprises and kind of quite large enterprises in, interestingly, many different sectors, energy being one of them with our work on the pilot with heata, with OVO. But yeah, it can really range to the customers that we have. But we're building a super healthy wait list, doing some partnerships and adding more clouds. We can now got 5 cloud regions. So we're just trying to make it double down, kind of worry on the things that we can control, and just build the best product we can with our sustainability in our minds as the top pillar, but appreciating that maybe it's not the fundamental one at enterprises, so we have to really have a multi-pillar offering.
Well, it's really interesting to see what you're doing, and thanks for talking to me on Green I/O and Architect Tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Brilliant.
It is super fun to be here. My name is Hannah Smith. I work at the Green Web Foundation and I'm Director of Operations. If you haven't heard of the Green Web Foundation, we are a non-profit based in Europe. We have a mission to see a fossil-free internet by 2030. If you've ever tested the carbon emissions of a website, it's very likely you'll have used some of our infrastructure somewhere along the way, maybe our data set or maybe our open source package. Today, I'm talking about a new project that we've got on called Carbon Text. We are trying to find clever, innovative, but simple ways to address the lack of data transparency within the sustainability field. So we have this really simple idea. Why can't everybody just share the sustainability data at a well-known, standardized location on their websites, like web address, greenweb.org/carbontext. It's a dead simple idea, but often the most simpler ideas are the most powerful ones.
So for those that know about web development, there's things like robots.txt and other files that are put at the top of the website. So something similar like that, which, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the idea. And what we're trying to do is just to take away that difficulty in finding information that many companies have to publish by law, but it's just scattered all over the place. Aside from making the data more discoverable, we're also looking at different ways of making the data more machine readable or more standardized as well. So that's another aspect of Carbon Text. And of course, you know quite a lot about this project, Ollie, don't you? Because we've done some collaboration on it together.
Yeah, thank you for that segue. I was going to throw in that this is something that we've been collaborating on with the Tech Carbon Standard. So I'm really proud that we've been working together and that carbon.text can point to someone's Tech Carbon Standard sort of data. So yeah, this is something that I'm certainly put some links to Carbon.text and Tech Carbon Standard and what we're doing together. So, but it's great to see you here talking about it today, Hannah. So it's great to see you. Thanks for jumping on to give us a bit of a summary about what you're doing.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah. So we'll obviously start this off with the comedy. Hi, Ollie.
Hi, Ollie.
It's the two Ollies at Green.io. So yeah, thanks for taking some time to talk to me on Architect Tomorrow / Green.io.
No worries.
Kick us off with telling us who you are and who you work for.
I am Ollie, and I am the co-founder of Root and Branch. We're a digital sustainability and software development consultancy based down in Brighton.
Yeah, and I came across you because you do the Green Software Brighton, or have I got the name of that wrong?
No, that is completely correct. Yeah. We actually started with that community, and then it grew into something much bigger than we thought it was going to be. And we wanted to just spend all of our time in this digital sustainability space. So me and my co-founder, Adam, we set up Root and Branch, and we haven't looked back.
And so what have you been talking about at Green.io today?
Well, we've been doing some work on the software carbon intensity standard, which came out of the Green Software Foundation a couple of years ago. And what we've been doing is expanding that foundation so that we could apply it to web applications and websites, which is what we've done. And we've written an academic paper on how we did that. And we're here to just share that work with the wider community.
What have you found fascinating? What sort of piqued your interest over the last couple of days?
I've really liked what Dryden's up to with the CarbonRunner. The community's been talking about carbon-aware computing for a long time, and there have been some progress made in that area. But I like
things really practical, isn't it? He's actually doing it.
It's really practical. It's such a simple idea, and it's often the simple ideas that work. And it's a foundation on which we can build more things. Yeah. So I really like it. I'm definitely going to be checking out later. So.
Nice one. Yeah, no, it's exciting. I agree. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks very much.
Cool. Cheers.
Hi, Ian. Welcome to the Architect Tomorrow podcast. Can you perhaps start by giving us a bit of an introduction?
Hi, Oliver. I'm a senior lecturer in sustainable IT based at the University of the West of England in Bristol. But most of my career has been management consultancy. Okay. I was in IBM for 10 years and was their sustainability leader on the DEFRA outsourcing. So I've got quite a bit of history with Green IT.
Fantastic. And what are you covering today?
So today I'm doing the last session. Green IT is good, but it's not enough. We're going to hear about lots of wonderful Green IT stories today, and I want to celebrate those, but we also need to be going after the bigger benefits that we can deliver on wider environmental, social and economic effects of sustainability. And of course, we need to be challenging ourselves about what's happening with AI, with the huge amount of extra compute being rolled out. How are we going to do that environmentally and sustainably?
And by the other effects, I guess we see a lot of people talking about energy usage and carbon. Are you sort of exploring sort of the material impacts, the water? What are the other sort of dimensions that you're talking about?
When we talk about green IT, we typically mean the life cycle of the IT itself. And so I want to talk much more about what are we doing with that? What are the applications? So the industry loves to talk about tech for good, and there are lots of ways in which we deliver social benefits or environmental improvements through, for example, scheduling of logistics. But who's going to talk about tech for bad? Perhaps that's for an academic to do. If you've got the greenest possible IT, but you're using it to extract more oil and gas, perhaps that's tech for bad.
And enabled emissions is something that's being talked about. So Awesome. Well, I really look forward to your talk. And thanks for being part of Green.io.
Great. Thank you.
I was at Green.io moderating a panel entitled Can Networks Keep Up with the AI Boom, a 2030 discussion, alongside Benjamin Swartz, Dom Robinson and Yanis Kalakis. And so there were two key takeaways from the panel, referring to networking impacts rather than CPU or data, and that network sustainability is different. Unlike compute, wired network energy consumption is largely fixed regardless of the traffic volume, and it's more about apportioning the costs of setting up that connectivity, not direct usage impacts. The second point of the discussion, which was key, was that scale matters. whilst there's a lot of talk about AI traffic growing by, say, 20 to 100 times current volumes by 2030, a lot of that at the moment is text-based. And so it's dwarfed by the streaming content world of films and music and so on. So, media streaming, the panel felt, was still going to be the predominant, network traffic source that's the one to be concerned about. So yeah, it was a great discussion. And I think in terms of takeaways for me from the event, I was particularly impressed by some of the practical examples that were on display at the conference this year. So things like the collaboration between OVO, heata and CarbonRunner, like using heata's hot water warming servers essentially to run CI/CD workloads from OVO. I thought it was just really, really clever. Just a nice sign of the future where CarbonRunner uses the data that's available on carbon intensity to route traffic and workload to places that it makes sense to route it, not just for sustainability reasons but for cost reasons. And Dryden, who's interviewed on this episode, has mentioned that as well. So yeah, and then just quickly to say, massive thanks to Gael for collaborating. Green IO is a fantastic community, fantastic conference, and London was wonderful, and look forward to doing more with Green IO.
You did it. You promised me last year that we will be twice more. You did it. Congratulations. You passed the exam. Meet you next year? 4,000? No, 400. Okay. No, seriously. So I didn't plan to do any closing remarks. I'm literally standing between you and a good pint of beer or whatever is your poison. So I guess it's a really dangerous situation. That's my wall. But I wanted to thank you again for joining, for taking the time to learn, to network. I hope you had a good time. If you had, I have a zero marketing budget. Okay, I don't intend to give any money to any Meta or other company. So make some noise on social networks. That works. And just grab someone and make sure that he or she will be with you next year. I think that may be the most efficient way to grow our network and to learn and to be stronger together. So once again, a massive thanks to all of you who joined, a massive thanks to our sponsors, whether they are for profit or non-profit, and all the volunteers. I've never seen that many white t-shirts. I love London. And I think we've still got some stickers. Okay, so weaponize, but the good way. Don't leave any booklets. They're here, like drop it at the coffee machine, drop it on the CTO desk, drop it on the CIO desk, but use them. They're a bit of carbons in this water, so use it. Take some stickers as well. Be proud of them, put them on your desktop, put them on your smartphone, put them on your laptop, whatever, put them on this asshole who is always denying climate change. But use it. This is a space for you, make good use of it, and now let's have some fun. Thank you, everyone.